Now that we have finished our large site assets, what we want to do is export everything and import it into Unreal. In the previous video, you saw the process of me texturing all the other extra assets. So on this one, I just textured it, exported, and imported all my meshes into Unreal. And we could see that here. So now all my meshes are in. I applied the textures and the materials on each mesh. Now what we want to do is modify the environment so that we can create our scene. The first thing I want you guys to do is update this Brushify folder. I have uploaded a updated version of this folder, and what you want to do is if you right click and go into Show in Explorer, it'll open up where that folder is. Go into content, download that zip file, close Unreal first, right click, export, and you're gonna export here. So you can just open it and drag, cut it, and paste it here and overwrite everything that's in this folder. Then when you open up Unreal, you're gonna have an updated version of the folder, because this folder has this textures and a couple of more stuff in it that was not there previously. So the first thing, now that we have our lodge here, but let's give some detail to the terrain, because if we see the terrain is practically flat. So we want some background hills. So the first thing you want to do is come into modes, go into landscape. This menu is going to pop open, and then you're going to hit sculpt. And in the sculpt, with the sculpt tool, go into circle and click alpha. Then you go into your Brushify folder, click alpha brushes, and then drag this in here. It's gonna take a little bit to load. If it doesn't pop in, just click on the arrow and it adds it. So then if you take a look at this image has 4 channels: the alpha, blue, green, and red. This is how the red looks, the green, the blue, and the alpha. So they have different height maps. So now what we could do is increase the size of the brush, and I'm doing bracket up or bracket down, or here you can just increase the size here. And then the strength, I'll make it 0.3, not so hard. So now if we increase the size and we click on it so that you can see it better, I'll just make it 1. And I click, you're gonna see it starts deforming. Let's do on the green channel. Let's check this one out. And when you click, it just modifies how it looks. And since the terrain, the material is an automatic map, so now you can see you have variations on the rock and where the grass is laid out. Now let's do in the blue channel, increase the size. We want to take a look from the back. .8. And all you want to do is just give different variation to your terrain, like so. Do it all around. Another thing you could do, now let's get out of the terrain mode. Another thing you could do is distant meshes. These are pre-made meshes that you can just drag in, like so. And then these meshes, you can just scale them up, like so. And then intersect them, increase the height, and then put them in the background, like so. Let's smooth out some of these mountains back here. So what I like to do is create a camera and get a shot. Once I have that shot set up, I start building around that shot. So let's do that. So you want to bring a camera, drag it in, and you're gonna see the preview of the camera. If you press F to zoom, you can see where the camera is gonna be located. I'll rotate it. You can move the camera like so. And I'll get like an establishing shot, let's say here. Now, if I click away, that preview is gonna leave. So if you click on the camera, there's a little pin down here, and if you click on it, it doesn't matter what you do, you will always see that camera angle. Okay, so in the previous video, when we created the lodge in here, we put it on the folder, which is easier to select the whole thing. So now you just right click, select immediate children, and then you can move it wherever you need. And then let's go into the camera, and if you go into perspective and click place cameras, and then you select it, your viewport turns into the camera. So what I want to do is have that establishing shot. So I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna populate more buildings on this side. Now that we have that, just click on the eject, and you're gonna see where the camera is, and you can move around. So now all we want to do is modify the terrain and make it look nicer. So let's go into our meshes and start populating. And if you notice that this lodge is bigger than the assets that I brought. I actually increased the size of all the meshes in the scene to 2.99375, because if you hit play and you have your character, this is your third person character, you'll see that this mesh is really small. So what I did was I just increased the size to make it look more normal. And I'll have to do that with everything. This one is too big. I'll probably reduce it in size. But the walls were too big. So now, every mesh that I bring in, I'll just apply, make all this one. Then lock it, and then when you paste it, it'll paste the same value across. So we do that. Same thing with this one. Like so. Bring the window. Like so. Now, let's bring the door and the frame. When you select both of them, you'll have them in the same spot. Select both. Add them. Now let's bring the knobs, the door knobs. Where are they? Where are they? Here it is. There you go. I'm gonna add another window over here. What else? What else? Now we have the rest of the meshes. So now I want a couple of these. This is why we use modular pieces, because now I can come in and give this whole mesh variation. And it gives it another look. This is all you want to do. Modify your meshes and make it look different. That way we can build a whole scene based on all the meshes that you have created. I do this. I'll bring it a little bit down. And then duplicate. And all I'm doing is duplicating with Alt. So in each axis, I'll just press Alt and drag, and it will duplicate my mesh. Now this one, I'll just bring it in a little bit. And Alt, 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 Alt. Like so. Now do the same for the other side. Like so. And I will grab this one and bring it to the front. And this is what I want you guys to do. Just change your models around, make something different. It doesn't have to be all the same. Modify your lodge, add details to it, make it look unique. Because that's why we created modular pieces, so that you can make any type of mesh your own. And basically this is how all the games are created. They just grab modular pieces and then they make a whole city out of it with a couple of meshes. And then I will need another one of these, long one for the top, like so. And then make it shorter. And this one a little bit taller. Same thing here. And I will add another one in the front. I'll make this one look like their support beams, like that. 45 degrees. Make them shorter. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. See how different it looks now? And what I brought in. This one, I'll make it smaller. And I'll actually grab some of these. Put one here. One here. Another one on this side. And I can add another window on this side. Save it. Now we have a lodge. Now all those meshes that you have created are on the bottom. So you select all of them. And then you right click and add them, move to lodge. So now all those meshes are gonna be here. So you can select immediate children. So now you have the whole thing. And you can move the whole thing as one. One other thing that I forgot is to mention is that if you want to group stuff together, you can also do that. So let's say we want let's come to the world really quick. Let's type landscape so that we can turn it off. And we can select all these pieces, all these parts. So now if I select all of them without the lights and the decal, you can grab the decal as well. But if you press Ctrl G, you will see that it gets encompassed in this square and is marked by these lines that make like a cube shape, like for the corners. That means that this mesh is one. So now if I select it, I click on it and I can move the whole thing, and this groups the whole all those assets together. So if you select one, all of them are going to select at the same time. So that's another way of grouping it instead of putting it all in one folder. Now we can grab and duplicate that group. So select everything and then Alt and duplicate. And then what I want to do with this one is change it around a little bit. So let's select our camera, pin it. Let's change it a bit. So for this one, I'll delete all these. You can see how easy and fast after you have everything in the scene is to build, because we're just moving things around. So now for this one, I'll just delete all these. Then if I want, I'll come into the side view. I can select all these. And uncheck the ones that I don't need. And then move the rest. So let's make them shorter. Like so. And then for this one, I want to change the material. So I'll come over here. We got stone walls, plaster walls. We got those here. Like so. Now, what I could do for this one, I'll delete this, grab all these meshes. So let's do something. Let's hide the landscape and the dome. we by mistake don't select it. Come to the top part. See what I'm missing. I selected everything from here. Come to this view. I'm missing this one, this one. This one, this one, this one, this one. Let's see. Yep. Now, I'll duplicate it. Rotate it. Delete, 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 delete. Delete all these. And add it to the house. Like so. This is too big. And this is basically what we're going to be doing. Just making variations. Making it look different. And come over here. Like all these, delete them. Bring everything back. There you go. Now I want something, add something like this. Now, let's bring a roof. And then what we want to do is increase this size, this side. This up, I'll make it shorter. So it doesn't penetrate through the other side. And then we need the arc from up here. Like so. And then let's bring a little window.